Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to our Srimad Bhagavatam overview class. We'll begin with our prayers. Om Ajnanatimrandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Hare Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी नित्यनामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone to our Srimad Bhagavatam overview class. We are discussing from the 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and we are discussing the pastime of Chitraketu Maharaj. So we heard the story of how when Indra he defeated and he killed Vritrasur, he became implicated in all the sinful reactions because of killing a Brahmana and a Vaishnava. And then on the order of the sages, and then he had to go and hide in Manasarovar lake for 1 year, and then after that, because of the mercy of Lord Shiva, because of the mercy of Lakshmi Devi, and because of the constant remembrance of the Supreme Lord Vishnu, he became free from the sinful reactions, and then he came back and he performed the Rajas Ashwamedh Yajna. So after hearing all this, Parikshit Maharaj he got a doubt: how can a demon who is born in a family of born in a family which is in the mode of ignorance and passion, demoniac family, demoniac caste, how can he render such a wonderful devotional service even on the battlefield? So that was the doubt which Parikshit Maharaj expressed to Shukdev Goswami, and in response to that, Shukdev Goswami he described a story about Chitraketu Maharaj, who was the king of Shurasena. Although he had millions of wives, 1 million wives, but still he had 10 million wives, but still he had no sons. Ultimately, by the mercy of Angira Rishi, he got a son, and he told that you please name this son as Harsha Shoka. And then in due course of time, the son was born, and because the primary queen who begot child, king became very much favorable to that king Kritadyuti, and all the other co-wives they started becoming envious. So they plotted against that son and they poisoned the son. When Kritadyuti and Chitraketu Maharaj he came to know all this, they were lamenting and crying a lot. And then after that, Angira Rishi and Narad Muni they arrived, and both of them they gave wonderful instructions to Chitraketu Maharaj and all the queens and the residents of the palace to pacify them. And that was what we discussed till yesterday, till last week. So now, today we'll be beginning the 16th chapter of this 6th canto, which is entitled King Chitraketu Meets the Supreme Lord. So, when Narad Muni, he saw that, even after his so many instructions, the king and all the queens were not pacified. So therefore, Narad Muni, what he did, he brought the dead son of Chitraketu Maharaj to life, so that Chitraketu Maharaj can hear from this dead son, and then he'll be pacified. So actually, Chakravarti Thakur writes that Actually, Narad Muni, he created a illusory, child, and he spoke through that child so that the king and the queen may become free from this lamentation. So now Narad Muni, he speaks to this Jiva. So Narad Muni says that, O living entity, just see, Jiva means the son who came back to life. So Narad Muni tells, O living entity, just see your father, your mother. They are lamenting, all your friends and all your relatives. They are so much overwhelmed with grief because of your passing away. Now please re-enter your body, because your time duration is not yet over in this body. You have remainder life remaining in this body. So you please enter this body again. And then after entering this body, please accept this royal throne and enjoy all the kingly opulences. But actually, Narad Muni was fooling this Chitraketu Maharaj because he knew that the small child, he did not have any life remaining, and this body was illusory. So therefore he wanted to preach to this king through this small child. So now after Narad Muni spoke this, so the small child who had just gotten up again, he starts speaking. Kasmin janmane ami mahyam pitaro mataro bhavan karmabhir brhamayamanasya devatiryan yonishu. He says, Kasmin janmani, in which birth were these pitara mataro abhavan? In which birth these persons were my father and mother? Because karma bhir, because of my actions, because of my fruitive activities, because of my karma, Brahmaya Manasya, I am wandering in so many species of life. Dev, Tiryan, Nriyonishu. Sometimes I take births in the family of the demigods, sometimes in humans, sometimes in the lower animals. So which mother father you are talking about? So then he says, actually there is no mother and father of mine, because I keep changing my bodies and I keep accepting different mothers and fathers. So how can I accept these persons as my parents? So Prabhupada there writes that actually living entity is the son of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And because we have forgotten this identity, and that's why we have come in this world and we are suffering. Krishna bahirmukh hayya jiva bhogo ancha kare nikatastha maya tare jhapatiya dhare. Because we wanted to enjoy separately from Krishna, that's why we have come in this world. So therefore, a living entity, he has no true relationship with anything in this world. Our father, mother, relatives, family, society, nation, we are not related to any one of them because all the relations are temporary. Chantu vaibhav etasmin yam yam yonim manuprachet tasyam salabhate nirvritirna virajyate. Living entity in this material world keeps wandering in so many species of life in search of happiness. But still he never becomes satisfied. In whatever species, in whatever form he may get, whatever amount of happiness one may get, living entity never becomes satisfied. So therefore, Prahlad Maharaj also tells to his friends that, oh my friends, please do not endeavor for happiness, because there is no happiness in this world which is permanent. So that's what Prabhupada is also writing. There is no relationship we have in this world with anyone. Naikatra priya samvasa suridam chitra karmanam oghena vyuhamananam plavanam srotasoyatha. So just like in a river, the two straws, they come together, stay for some time, again get separated. Similarly, we come in this world, make our relationship with few of the persons. Again, we die and we are separated. So therefore, he says, there is no permanent relation in this world. Bandhu, Gyati, Ari, Madhyastha. He says, we have no relation with anybody, with our friends, with our relatives, with our enemies, with the people who are our false friends, Madhyastha. Those who are our mitra, those who are udasina, those who are envious, we are not related to any of them. Bhavanti kramasho mithaha. these transactions, they are temporary. We are related with some of our friends, we are related to some of our relatives. All these are temporary transactions. So Chakravarti Thakur writes that when I die, seeing me as a son, you are lamenting. So he's speaking the words of this son who came back. So we are on 16th chapter, and we are discussing the 5th verse now. So Chakravarti Thakur writes that this boy, the child who came back to life, he's saying that, but why are you lamenting seeing me as son? Why don't you see me as your enemy and rejoice, seeing that, okay, my enemy has died? Because all the relationships in this world, they are temporary. Who are the bandhu? Bandhu means the kinsmen through marriage. You marry some family and you develop so many friendships, relationships. Gyati is a paternal relation. Enemies are those who attack you, want to do harm to you. So Chakravarti Thakur writes a very wonderful, thing here. He says, the enemies in one life becomes the son in the another life. Very, very, surprising and shocking thing which Chakravarti Thakur is writing here. The person who is enemy in current life, he will become the son in the next life. Because the son, it is saying, Chakravarti Thakur writes there, it is common saying that a son with good qualities who dies is actually an enemy, because he gives a greater sorrow. If a son does not have good qualities, he is all bad, he is very, very sinful, then the father will not be, lamenting so much. Just like in the case of Veena, we heard that Anga Maharaj, he was so very upset that he left the kingdom without telling anybody. So he says that this person who is the son who is having all the good qualities, and if he dies, he puts all his parents and relatives in a greater grief. You should know that that person is an enemy from his past life. So now somebody may think, if an enemy becomes one's son, how does affection arise, for that person as a father, as a dear relative? So how is this possible? Because you are saying, okay, this person was my enemy in the last life. How can a person develop a affectionate relationship with the enemy? So he says, Yatha vastuni panyani hemadini tatastatah paryatanti nareshvevam jiva yonishu kartrishu. He says, just like he gives an example. Narad Muni, the Jiva gives an example. Just as the gold and all the other commodities, they pass among people. Sometimes one person has some gold, then in due course of time, he may sell that and other person may buy it. So when the wealth or a gold is in the hand of one person, he thinks it is mine. He likes it. He develops all the affection and attachment to that object. But when the person or when the object or a gold, for example, goes to some other's hand, this person loses all the attachment. And he gives the example, just like a bull or an animal. If a person sells the animal, all the attachment which a person has for the animal is gone. So therefore, all the relationship which we have in this world, it is temporary. And because of this relationship, people, they suffer in this world. So if we understand that all the relationships in this world are temporary, we will not be bound, we will not be attached so much. So therefore, this Jiva, this child who just got up, he's saying, for some time I was son of Chitraketu, and for that time he showed some affection to me. Afterwards, now I have gone, I'll become son of somebody else, and that person will show affection to me. So why is Chitraketu becoming so, sorrowful? So it is like a coin, just if somebody has a gold coin, if it goes to somebody else's, in somebody else's hand, so the person loses all that, attachment for the gold coin. So one devotee was sharing that, they sold their house and they were about to shift to some other house. So after they had already sold that house, so the person who had bought the house, he came in and started all the renovation work. They started breaking so many things in the home, in that house. So this devotee was telling that although they were breaking the same house which we were living in for so many years, we were so very attached to that house. But after we had sold that house, even though the person was breaking the house, we had no attachment. We were not disturbed. That's how things are related to us, because they are, because when till the time we have relationship with that object, we think it is mine. And when something wrong goes with that person or an object, we think, okay, we are so very sorrowful and morose. So therefore, he says that only relationship with a person which a person has with somebody else is the relation for the body. Till the time the body is there, the relationships are there. After the jiva, after the living entity leaves the body, the relationship is gone. So therefore, we should not lament so much. And then it describes the qualities of the living entity. He says that living entity is eternal, imperishable, it is nitya, it is sanatana, avyaya, never gets destroyed. And he says that a living entity does not take birth. Same philosophy of Bhagavad Gita, which Krishna is speaking to Arjuna in the second chapter. Na jayate mriyate va kadachin nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuyah. So in the 9th and 10th verses, this small child is speaking the same philosophy. And Prabhupada describes there that these verses, they describe the principle of achintya bhed abhed. Lord also is eternal, Lord also is imperishable, but the difference is Lord is vibhu, we are anu, we are very small, and Lord is unlimited. So that is the difference between the Lord and the living entities. Until the time the living entity is under the modes of ignorance, we become so very attached to the things which are related to our body. But the Supreme Lord is never affected by any of the material entanglements. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that udasinvat asinaha. Although I am doing so many activities in this world, but I am not attached to it. Namam karmani limpanti name karma phale spriha. So there is no work which is assigned to me, but still I am engaging in activity without becoming attached to it. So therefore, this jiva, this boy, this child says that for the living entity also, there is no one dear in this world. In every lifetime, we make so many relationships. After the role is over, after the duration is over, the soul leaves the body and goes to some other body and makes the relationships with some other people. So soul is not attached to any person in this world. There is no distinction which is made by the soul. But because we are thinking from just one lifetime point of view, we make distinctions. We start becoming attached. We have so many emotional things to do with the person. But the jiva is not attached. Just like a Lord is not attached, jiva, the soul, is also not attached. So therefore, what are the qualities of the Lord? So this child says that Supreme Lord, he is not attracted or affected by the happiness and distress of the world. In the 11th verse, he says this. He is not affected by any happiness, any distress. He is situated as a neutral witness. As Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, he says that Updrashta Anumanta. I am the neutral observer. Whatever activity a living entity performs, the super soul or the Paramatma in the heart of everyone just observes all the activities. Udasinvat asinam asaktam teshu karmasu. He is not attached and he is not averse to any of the activity which is done by a living entity. But interestingly, when a person becomes a devotee of the Lord, that same Paramatma becomes an active guide for a devotee. For a non-devotee, Paramatma is a passive observer. Paramatma just observes what this person is doing, just like the example is given, two birds which are sitting on the same branch. But if the person becomes devotee of the Lord, the Supreme Lord gives active guidance to this person. So therefore, after this Jiva had spoken in so many different ways, so after speaking, this child again, he lied down and this soul left. And seeing this, Chitraketu Maharaj and all the other queens, they were completely astonished. Hearing the instructions from this child, they cut off all their shackles of affection. Chitvam sneha shrankhala. Chitvam. They cut off all the bonds of affection and they gave up their lamentation. They performed the final rites and the rituals for the child, and they became free from lamentation, fear, and pain, which is very, very difficult to give up. Now, interestingly, all the co-wives who had poisoned the child, they were also listening to all the instructions of this Angira Muni and Narad Muni, and then this child who was speaking. So then, hearing the instructions from all these people, they started becoming very, very, nervous, and they became pale, and they actually revealed themselves. They said, they became so very ashamed, and they frankly admitted that they had poisoned the child. So then, all these co-wives also, they became very much ashamed. So while lamenting, they remembered all the instructions of Angira Muni, and they also gave up their ambition to have a child, because that was their problem, because they wanted to have a child and they are getting so much disturbed because of that. So then, under the instructions of Brahmanas, they went to Yamuna, they took bath there, and they performed all the atonement ceremonies to become free from the reaction of killing a child. So Prabhupada here, he focuses on the word Bal Hatya Hata Prabhaha. So it is described that because these wives, they had killed a child, they lost all their body luster. And Prabhupada, in that purport, in this 14th verse purport, he talks in detail about the abortion. How that abortion is so very sinful activity. And these queens, because they killed the child, they atoned for it, and under the instruction of the Brahmana, so that they would not have to suffer in the next life. But in current times, there are so many children who are killed in the womb, and nobody does any atonement for that. So the child who is killed in the womb again has to go somewhere else and take birth, but the person who has killed the child also has to undergo through the same situation, same reaction. So Prabhupada focuses on that. And then all the queens and all, this king, Chitraketu and Kritadyuti, they all become enlightened. And Chitraketu became so very enlightened and so very renounced. He came out of the dark well of family life. So Griham Andhakupam. That's the instruction which Prahlad Maharaj also gives to Hiranyakashipu. Tat sadhu manye survarya dehinam sada samudvigna dhiyama sadgrahat hitvatma patam grihamandakupam vanam gato yad harima shrayeta. So Prahlad Maharaj also is telling to Hiranyakashipu, my father, tat sadhu manye asurvarya dehinam, O Asurvarya, O best of the demons, the great souls, they say that because you are so very entangled in this family life, you are like living in a deep, dark well. You are caught up there. If you want to come out of it, just give up everything and go to the Vrindavan. Vanam gatoyat. So Chitraketu Maharaj, by hearing the instructions of these sages, he came out of this affection and came out of this attachment of family life. And he also took bath in Yamuna and performed all the rituals and offered respects to Angira Muni and Narad Muni. So Narad Muni, after he instructed Chitraketu, he also left after that he continued to give some instructions to Chitraketu Maharaj. So now after this, he instructed Chitraketu Maharaj in how to worship the Supreme Lord. So in next 7-8 verses, he describes how you have to worship that Supreme Personality of Godhead. He says, Om Namastubhyam Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhimahi Pradyumnaya Niruddhaya Nama Sankarshanaya Cha. So he offers the obeisances to the Chaturvyuha, Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna and Aniruddha. So then he says, he describes the difference between the Lord and the Jiva. The Lord and the Jiva, they are all both full in knowledge. They are Vijnana Matraya. They are Paramananda Murtaye. They are full of bliss. Supreme Lord is full of transcendental bliss, and Jiva also has the capacity to experience the complete bliss. Supreme Lord is also Atmaram and Shantaya. He is self-sufficient and most peaceful. But the Jiva, because he wants to enjoy in this material world, he becomes implicated in the material activities. And then after describing, he describes the various features of the Lord as impersonal Brahman, and he describes that Supreme Lord is the cause of the universe. He is responsible for the creation, maintenance, and destruction of this universe. And after this universe is destroyed, only the Supreme Lord remains. As the Chatushloki Bhagavatam also says, that after everything is destroyed, I existed in the beginning of the creation. Aham evasam evagre nanyad yat sadasat param yasmadaham yadetaccha yo avashishyet so asmiham. So there also it is described by Shukdev Goswami. Supreme Lord is saying to Brahmaji that in the beginning of the creation only I existed, and then from me all the creation came out, and then at the end of the life of Brahma, everything will be annihilated and will come back to me only. So Narad Muni is also telling that you are the cause of Brahman, and from you everything is coming out and everything will be dissolved into you only. You are existing beyond this perception of senses, all the senses. You are Adhokshaja. Nobody can perceive you, O my Lord, with senses. You are the source of consciousness of everybody. From you, everybody in this world, he gets his strength and consciousness. All the various elements of the body, the 16 elements, and then mind, intelligence, and ego, and everything is coming from you. And then he says, actually, you are served by the devotees of the Lord. Devotees of the Lord, they serve you. They are very interested, very much eager to serve you, my Lord, because you are supreme enjoyer and devotees of the Lord. Your devotees, they are just interested in serving you and giving you all the happiness. You are massaged, your lotus feet is massaged by the multitude of devotees. So that's how Narad Muni instructed Chitraketu Maharaj, and he gave this mantra to Chitraketu Maharaj. You please chant this mantra, and in a very short time, you will have darshan of Lord Sankarshan. So after that, Angira Muni and Angira Muni and Narad Muni, he left this. Sorry, there is some. Okay, so there is some problem with this, right? The verses are previous only. Yeah. Okay, anyways. So Narad Muni and Angira, they left for Brahmaloka after instructing Chitraketu Maharaj. And Chitraketu Maharaj, he started, this practice of chanting mantras and practicing. He was fasting and drinking only water. And in this way, he very quickly, he attained perfection of devotion. Within 7 days, he got darshan of the Lord. So Prabhupada writes there, as soon as Chitraketu Maharaj, he got instruction from Narad Muni, immediately he started this practice. He became completely detached from this, mundane attachments. Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga. Vairagya Vidya means that knowledge which gives renunciation. So that is the process of bhakti. You don't have to practice renunciation separately. Everything is attained just by the practice of bhakti. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janayati Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chayat Ahetukam. By the practice of bhakti, one automatically becomes detached from the material attachments. It happens for sure. If that is not happening, if we are still attached to our previous conditionings, that means there is some problem. We have not practiced the process clearly and properly and sincerely. And we know the story which Prabhupada tells about the marriage party which was going on the other side of the river, and they took a boat, and the boatman said, okay, you just relax, I will take you all across. And the whole night he was rowing, but next morning they were at the same place. So the problem was, this person, this boatman, he forgot to lift the anchor. So if we are practicing Krishna consciousness, and if we have still same conditioning, same desires, we are still getting attracted to all the mundane things, that means there is some problem. We are not following the basics properly. Therefore, Prabhupada writes, Vairagya Vidya means detachment should come. If somebody is practicing Krishna consciousness, for sure he'll become detached. So Chitraketu Maharaj, because he was doing the fasting and he was drinking only water, and he did it for just 1 week. With great attention, he chanted the mantra. And because of this chanting of mantra, what was the immediate result? Immediate result of this chanting of mantra was he achieved the rulership of Vidyadhar planet. So Prabhupada writes, a devotee does not need to do anything extra. All whatever is required for a devotee to live in this world is given by Krishna. Yat karmabhir yat tapasa jnana vairagyayascha yogena dana dharmena shreyo bhiritarayrapi sarvam madbhakti yogena madbhakto labhate anjasa swarga apavarga madadhama kathanche yadi vanchati. So Krishna is telling to Uddhava, whatever results one obtains by karma, fruitive activities, by austerities, by practicing, cultivating jnana, jnana vairagya by practicing all the renunciation, yogain by the practice of yoga, by all the dharmic activities, and all the other shreyobhiritarayrapi. Sarvam madbhakti yogena madbhakto labhate anjasa. Anjasa means very easily my devotee attains everything. What does he attain? Swarga, apavarga, madhama, kathanche yadivanchati. If my devotee, he wants heaven, he'll attain that. If he wants liberation, he will attain that also. If he wants to come to Vaikuntha, Maidham, or Goloka, he will get that also. So for a devotee, nothing is unattainable in this world. Although a pure devotee is never attached to any of the material opulences, but Supreme Lord, he awards material opulences to devotees if that is, conducive for the practice of Krishna consciousness. If Prabhupada, he told many times that Krishna tested me twice. Once by taking away everything from me, and the other time by giving everything to me. In both ways, our sincerity is tested. When Krishna takes away everything from me or from us, we should know that this is the mercy of the Lord, and we should not be attached to, holding back those things. And if Krishna gives us everything, we should not think, no, this is Maya, this is sense gratification, I'll become entangled. No. We have to learn how to engage the opulences in service of Krishna. That is called Yukta Vairagya. So therefore, that was a secondary result, immediate result. What was the primary result of chanting and doing this tapasya? So it is described, Shukdev Goswami says that Chitraketu Maharaj, his mind became increasingly enlightened, and he developed very deep affection and attachment for the lotus feet of Lord Ananta. So that is a devotee's ultimate achievement. A devotee's ultimate achievement is his mind should become a devotee. His mind should become more and more attached to the service of the Lord, to the process of hearing and chanting the names of the Lord. So Prabhupada writes there that if a devotee receives material opulences, he uses it in service of Krishna. That is the principle of Yukta Vairagya. And Prabhupada quotes this verse, Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yuktam Vairagyam Uchyate. And then after that, Prabhupada also writes a very wonderful line there. He says, a devotee is awarded all the material opulence for spiritual advancement. This opulence is an aid to help the devotee advance towards the spiritual kingdom. So if Supreme Lord thinks that, okay, if I'll give this devotee all the opulences, he will not get distracted from the path, then he'll give everything. Just like in the case of Dhruv Maharaj. Dhruv Maharaj said, I do not want anything, O my Lord. I am happy, I am satisfied. Lord said, no, no, you please take it. Because Lord knew that this devotee, Dhruva, will not be distracted. He'll use it in my service. So therefore, a karmi's material opulence and a devotee's material opulence, they are not on the same level. A karmi, when he gets material opulence, he uses it for his own sense gratification. A devotee, when he gets opulence, he uses it for the service of the Lord. So therefore, when Chitraketu attains the darshan of the Lord, he first of all sees the beautiful form of the Lord. Mrinala Gauram Shitivasa Samspurat Kirit Keyur Kaditra Kankanam Prasannavaktra Arunalochanam Nrinam Dadarsha Siddheshwara Mandalai Prabhum. He says, so it is described when this Chitraketu Maharaj, he got darshan of the Lord Shankarshana. So what was the form of the Lord? He was as white as the white fibers of the lotus. Lord Krishna is bluish. Shankarshana is whitish. He is dressed in bluish garments. Lord Krishna is dressed in yellow garments. Sankarshana, he was dressed in bluish garments. He was wearing a helmet and he was having a belt and a bangle, and all beautiful decoration ornaments were put. He had a very beautiful smiling face. Prasanna Vaktra Aruna Lochana. He had reddish eyes and he was surrounded by liberated sages like four Kumaras, Sanat Kumar. And when Chitraketu Maharaj, he saw this beautiful darshan of the Lord, he went into ecstasy. Tad darshanadhvasta samasta kilbishay swasthamala antahkarana bhuyan manu pravriddha bhaktya pranayashu lochanaha prarishta roma namadadi purusham. So when he saw the beautiful darshan of the Lord, tad darshana dhvasta samasta kilbishay, all the sinful reactions, all the impurities and contaminations which were there, everything was destroyed just by darshan of the Lord. Dhvasta samasta kilbishaihi, all the sinful reactions, all the contaminations were destroyed. And then, because he became completely pure with that spotless mind, antahkaran, with that spotless antahkarana, spotless mind, intelligence and ego, he approached the Lord very silently. And as he was taking darshan of the Lord with increasing devotion, pravriddha bhaktya, his devotion increased. Pranay ashru lochana, his eyes were full of tears. Seeing the beautiful darshan of the Lord, he was having tears in his eyes. His hairs were standing on end, and he offered the respects to the Supreme Lord in this way. So Prabhupada writes there that if one regularly takes darshan of the Supreme Lord and offers obeisances to the Lord and takes the darshan in a right mood, all these symptoms will naturally manifest. So that is the merciful form of the deities, Archa Vigraha. Supreme Lord, he manifests in this world in the form of Archa Vigraha. Why? Why he is standing all day? After the Lord is installed, just one day Lord rests. That is Shayana Adhivas. After that, for so many hundreds and thousands of years, Lord does not even get to rest physically. Utsamurti is rested. But the installed deities, the main deities, they don't sleep. They're always there standing. Why? Why Lord stands and takes all the trouble, just for one reason, so that the devotees may come and offer their beautiful prayers, offer their heartfelt prayers. That is the purpose for which Lord is there in the deity form. So therefore, whenever we go in front of the deities, we should offer our heartfelt prayers. If we cannot offer our heartfelt prayers, if we don't know how to pray, then there are so many prayers which are mentioned in the scriptures. There are so many devotees who have glorified the Lord. So read that, memorize those verses and speak in front of the Lord. In whatever way you can glorify, first glorify the Lord. There is a sequence, there is a way in which we can take darshan of the Lord and we can pray to the Lord. First of all, we should glorify the Lord for the beautiful qualities, beautiful form, everything Lord is doing. And then we should offer our fallen position, before we should describe our own fallen condition, you know. So, and then after that, we should pray for others. And then we should pray for ourselves. So, Chitraketu Maharaj, he got darshan of Lord Shankarshan, was worshipping Sankarshan. So he became an associate of Sankarshan, as will be described, you know. So that is the purpose of deities of the Lord. Sanchintayed Bhagavatas Charanara Vajrankushadhvaja Saroruha Lanchanadyam Uttunga Rakta Vilasannaka Chakravala Jyotsna Virahat Mahadridayandakaram. So it is described when we go in front of the deities, we should take darshan of first lotus feet of the Lord. And what should we meditate while taking darshan of the lotus feet of the Lord? The lotus feet of the Lord is marked with so many different symbols. Few of them are Shankha, Chakra, Sanchintayed Bhagavatas Charanar, Vajra, Ankush, Dhwaj, Saroruha, thunderbolt, elephant gourd, lotus flower, and a flag. So lotus feet of the Lord is marked with 18 symbols. So we should meditate on those symbols. We should meditate on the toenails of the Lord, the red nails of the Lord. Why we should meditate on the toenails of the Lord? Because from those toenails, effulgence comes. And that effulgence destroys the ignorance, the darkness of the ignorance which is there in the heart of a devotee. So when Chitraketu Maharaj, he saw darshan of Lord Sankarshana Dev, he became overwhelmed with ecstasy. He wanted to offer prayers, but his voice was choked up. His eyes were full of tears. He was not able to speak anything. And then, somehow he wanted to glorify the Lord. So somehow he tried his best, but he was unable to utter even a single letter. With all his intelligence, with all his memory, with all his skills, he wanted to glorify the Lord. So Prabhupada writes that this is the perfection of our existence. Idam hi pumsa tapasa shrutasya va shvishtasya suktasya cha buddhi dattayoh avichyuto artha kavibhirnya rupito yuttama shloka gunanuvarnanam. So this is a very beautiful verse which is described by Shukdev Goswami. He says, if one has scientific skills, philosophical skills, some political or economic or any other abilities or any other assets, if that is not used in the glorification of the Lord, then that is of no use. All the activities, all the skills, all the abilities we have, yaduttama shloka gunanuvarnanam, they should be used for glorification of the Lord. So Chitraketu also wanted to do this, but he was unable to offer prayers because of the intense ecstatic emotions. So he had to wait for some time, before he could offer prayers. We discussed the same thing when Dhruv Maharaj, he saw the Vishnu Dutas, they came. Nanda and Sunanda, they came to take him back to the spiritual world. Immediately, suddenly they appeared, So Dhruv Maharaj, he had got up and he was doing his morning program and he was chanting his mantras and, serving devotees. Immediately, suddenly, the Vaikuntha Viman came and Dhruv Maharaj also was shocked, So we must have experienced this sometime, that some great devotee, suddenly comes at our home and we don't know what to do, abhi kya kare, kya laye, how to serve him. So Dhruv Maharaj was also in that position. So then what he did that time, Vigyaya tau tamagaya kinkaro abhyuthita sadhvasa vismrita kramaha nanama nama nigrinan madudvisha parshat pradhana vihasamhatanjali. Vigyaya tau, he came to know, he realized that Uttamagaya Kinkaro, the great servants, the great devotees of Lord have come. Abhyuthita, immediately he got up. Sadhvasa Vismrit Krama, he forgot the sequence, how to welcome them. First, I should offer obeisances, or I should, garland them, put chandan on their forehead. What to do now? He became confused. Nama nama nigrinan madudvisha. So then what he did? Started glorifying the Supreme Lord, chanting the names of the Lord. So that is the ultimate glorification. That is how we can welcome anybody, by chanting, by doing kirtan. So now this Chitraketu Maharaj, he was also overwhelmed. Then after some time he regained his speech, and then controlling his mind and intelligence, he started offering beautiful, beautiful prayers. So now Chitraketu Maharaj is describing beautiful prayers. He says, "Oh my Lord, you are Ajita, but you are conquered by your devotees. You are unconquerable, but you are conquered by the devotees, and the devotees also conquer you." So Prabhupada writes, that is the wonderful mutual competition which is going on between the Lord and the devotees. Lord conquers the devotees and devotees also conquer the Lord. But the qualification is one should have no ulterior motives. Anya bhilashita shunyam. And because devotees, they are always ready to serve the Lord, Lord becomes pleased and conquered by the devotees. So Chakravarti Thakur writes that the Lord is not conquered by the yogis and the jnanis. Lord is conquered by the devotees. Iti drikswalila bhir ananda kunde swaghosham nimajjantam akhyapayantam tadiyeshi tagyesho bhaktairjitatvam puna prematastam shatabriti vande. So beautiful verse comes in Damodar Ashtakam. So Krishna, he manifests so many beautiful pastimes to show to the world how I am conquered by devotees. Bhaktair jitatvam evam sandarshita hi anga harina bhrityavasthita swavashenapi krishnena yasedam sa ishwaram vashe. That Supreme Lord under whose control all the world is there, he becomes controlled by the devotees. So that's the power of the Lord, and that's the power of the devotees. Lord controls everyone, devotee controls the Lord. So then he glorifies that Supreme Lord, that, "Oh my Lord, you are the proprietor of all the universe. You are the creator, maintainer, and destroyer." But people who are, falsely thinking themselves as the controllers, they are illusioned. And therefore, you are the only one who are existing in all the times. Before this creation was done, you are there. Now also you are the only one who is the prominent entity, and after this creation will be destroyed, you will be there. Advaitam achyutam anadim anantarupam adyam purana purusham navayovanam cha. You are Adi Purusha. You are always youthful entity. And then he says that, "Oh my Lord, you are existing in all the space. Whatever we are seeing in this material world, everything is your expansion only." In the second canto, we described how Brahmaji says, he's answering the questions of Narad Muni, says, "Whatever you are seeing in this world, O Narada, everything is coming from Krishna. Dravya, Kala, Karma, Swabhava, Jiva, everything is coming from Vasudeva only. Na anyo asti artho tattvataha." Supreme Lord is the only one who is existing in this world, from whom everything is coming. After glorifying the Lord, Chitraketu glorifies the devotees of the Lord. But before glorifying the devotees, he criticizes the non-devotees. He says, "Oh my Lord, people who are animalistic, animal-like men, Purusha Pashu, they are interested in all the mundane material things of the world. That's why they worship all the devatas. Devatas, they give all the temporary results. Kamaistaistairitaggyana prapadyante anya devata. Bhagavad Gita Krishna says. You know, all the people who have lost their intelligence, they worship the devatas. But a devotee does not hanker for all these material benefits. He is just interested in serving the Supreme Lord. Even if the devotee has some material desires, still he worships you only. You know, as Shukdev Goswami describes, a kama sarva kamo va moksha kamudarthi, whatever desire you have, but worship Krishna. So your devotees, they are only interested in worshipping you, because by your worship, this sansara, this material world will be destroyed. And somebody may say, okay, but you are telling that even if you have desires, you worship Krishna, but by fulfillment of those material desires, I'll become bound in this material world. No, that does not happen. So Chitraketu Maharaj says that if somebody worships the Lord with material desires, the material desires become purified. Just like the seeds which are fried or roasted and they are put in the ground, they do not sprout. Similarly, if somebody approaches the Supreme Lord with material desires, Supreme Lord purifies those desires. Satyam dishatyarthitam arthitorinam naivarthatoyat punararthitam yatah swayam vidatte bhajatam anichchatam ichchapidhanam nijapada pallavam. So it is described that if somebody approaches the Lord for some material desires, Lord fulfills those desires. But he fulfills them in such a way that the devotee will not ask for the same desires again. Anya kame yade karayadi krishnera bhajan namagiteha krishna tare dena swacharan. If some devotee worships Krishna for material desires, even if the devotee does not want it, Krishna gives his lotus feet to that devotee. So therefore, so Chitraketu Maharaj says that if somebody approaches the Lord with material desires, that is the result. So what if somebody approaches the Lord with pure devotional sentiments? What will happen to those devotees? So he says that, those devotees, they are only interested in serving you, Bhagavat Dharma. And these devotees, when they surrender to you, they become completely purified. They are Nishkinchana. They have no material desires. They are Atmaram. They are self-satisfied. They are only satisfied in serving Krishna. And therefore, Prabhupada gives the definition of pure devotional service. Anyabhilashita shunyam, sarvopadhi vinirmuktam. So all that. And then he describes the difference between the Bhagavat Dharma and all the other dharmas. He says, if somebody starts practicing devotional service, he loses all the conceptions of me and mine. He becomes free from the dualities of the world. All the other religions, they do not benefit anyone. Actually, any religious system which produces, envy in the heart is very, very condemned. This type of religious system provokes your anger. It arouses your anger, oh my Lord, and it makes one sinful. So therefore, if somebody practices some pretentious religion to show others, he does not get benefited, and others also do not get benefited. Just like Bhagavad Gita Krishna says, Atma sambhavita stabda dhanamana madanvita yajante nama yajyaiste dambhena avidhi purvakam. If somebody is doing a big yajna or big sacrifice, he gives charity and builds temple, but why? He wants to show, I am such a great charity giver, I am such a great donor. That is performed out of pride. Dambhena avidhi purvakam. It is performed out of pride. It does not benefit anyone. So therefore, after describing all this, so this is a very wonderful prayer which Chitraketu Maharaj offers to, Lord Shankarshan. He says, Nahi Bhagwan agatitam idam. He says, oh my Lord, it is not possible for one to become free from all the sinful activities. just by taking your darshan. If somebody says nahi nahi भगवान का दर्शन करेंगे शुद्ध हो जाएंगे, that yes, darshan is purifying. But here Chitraketu Maharaj is saying it is not possible for one to become immediately free from all sinful reactions just by taking your darshan. Tad darshana ninam. If somebody thinks that just by taking darshan of the Lord, I'll become free from sinful activities. No. He will become purified, but it may take a long, long time. Then how to become free completely? Yannam sakrishravanat pukkashopi vimuchyate samsarat. By chanting your names, one becomes immediately free from all the sinful reactions. So that is the power of holy name. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he writes a beautiful purport commentary here in this. This is the 44th verse. So here Chakravarti Thakur writes that, now I have obtained direct results of this pure bhakti by chanting your names. What to speak of destruction of sins? It gives liberation. Just by chanting the names of the Lord, one gets liberated. Just one name is sufficient to do it. There is one small video clip of Prabhupada. One devotee is asking, Prabhupada, we have done so many sinful activities our whole life, and maybe for many, many lifetimes we might have done. Can we become purified, in this one lifetime? So Prabhupada said, and he asked, Prabhupada, how much time it will take? Prabhupada said, 1 minute. It takes 1 minute to become purified. You don't have faith? Prabhupada says. You have not read Bhagavad Gita? Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam braja. Take shelter of me. I'll make you free from all the sinful activities. Ma shucha, do not fear. So therefore, just one name is sufficient. What will happen if one chants many names? Just hearing once is sufficient. What happens if one hears many times? By just hearing the name, this happens. What will happen if one chants the name? And this happens even to the outcasts. Just by chanting the name, even outcasts get delivered. Pukkasha means lower class person. Kirat, Hunandra, Pulinda, Pulkasha, Abhir, Shumbha, Yavana, Kasadaya, Yanye cha Papa, Yadapa, Shraya, Shrayat, Shuddhanti Tasmai, Prabhavishnave Namah. All the lower castes become purified just by chanting. So if outcasts also become purified, then what will happen to others? So this holy name delivers one from the material world. Then what to speak of destroying all the sins? That is going to happen anyways. Then he says, oh my Lord, all this is possible. I have got your darshan. I have become purified because of the mercy of Narad Muni. Narad Muni gave instructions. That's why I became purified. You know everything, oh my Lord. I offer my obeisances. What can I speak about you? You know everything. I am just like a glowworm in front of a sun. So what will I say to glorify you? Materialists people, they cannot recognize your transcendental form. They cannot understand your glories. Avajananti Mamuda, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. People who are materialists, ignorance, foolish people, they do not understand Krishna. So therefore he offers his obeisances to the 1,000-hooded Lord. And then after that, he offered his prayers. Anantadev, after hearing his beautiful prayers, he becomes very happy. He becomes very pleased with Chitraketu Maharaj. And he says, oh Chitraketu, you have become perfect. By the instructions of Angira Muni and the Narad Muni, you have gained transcendental knowledge. And that's why you are able to see me now. It is so very rare to see me. I am the supreme source of everyone. I am the source of all the scripture, Shabda Brahma and Param Brahma. I am the source of Paramatma. I am the source of, all the scriptures. In this world, people, the jiva thinks that he is the enjoyer. But, I have created and expanded this world just to fulfill this enjoying mentality of a living entity. And he says, then Supreme Lord says, I am the Paramatma in everyone's heart. I reside in all the phases of time in the past, present, and future. And therefore, people, because they are forgetful of this condition, this reality, because they do not understand that I am the Supreme Lord, they become entangled in the material world, and they go into various species of life, transmigrating. But very interesting verse, very interesting thing Lord Shankarshana says. He says, human form, especially in Bharat Varsha, is a very, very rare opportunity where one can make one's life perfect. And this comes many times in scriptures. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Bharat Bhumite Manushya Janma Hoila Yar, Janma Sarthak Kari Kar Paropkar. We have discussed this, in detail in the fifth canto also. All the devatas, they are waiting, hankering to come to take birth in Bharat Varsha, especially in the family of devotees. So therefore, Supreme Lord says that, if one does not take advantage of this human form of life, then it is very, very difficult to attain perfection. Only by the practice of bhakti, one becomes free from all the sinful reactions. One attains the perfection of life. So therefore, one should become a devotee by following the footsteps of the superior devotees, knowing that only this is the way to come out of this cycle of birth and death. And then he says, O Chitraketu, after this life, you will attain me. Just follow my instructions, and then after this life, you will come to my abode. And after this, saying all this, Supreme Lord disappeared. So this is the end of the 16th chapter. So we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Anybody has any questions you can ask? You can speak also if you want to ask something. Yeah, I have unmuted.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much, Prabhu. Such a nice, wonderful explanation. My question is, Prabhu, about Chitraketu Maharaj. Why did he worship Shankarshan? I know there is no difference between Krishna and Shankarshan, but still, I have heard that there is a separate residence of all the incarnation of the Lord. So why didn't he directly worship Krishna? That is my first question.
See, every different devotees have different inclinations, so it is not mentioned anywhere why he worshipped Lord Sankarshana, but every person, every devotee has a particular type of attraction for a particular incarnation of the Lord. Yad yad dhyata urugaya vibhavayanti tat tad vapu pranayase sadanugrahaya. So we hear in the story of Murari Gupta also, he was attached to Lord Ram. So Supreme Lord manifests in various incarnations to fulfill the desires of the devotees. Yad yad dhyata urugaya. Whatever intelligence a devotee has, tat tad vapu pranayase. In that form, Supreme Lord appears in front of him. So, although it is not mentioned clearly why he worshipped Sankarsana, but that must be his inclination. He must be attached to Lord Sankarsana. That's why he worshipped Lord Sankarsana. And when Narad Muni came and instructed, so he worshipped personally, particularly Lord Sankarsana by those mantras. So that's all I think it is mentioned. It is not particularly mentioned why he worshipped Sankarsana only.
So, Prabhu, in this material world, we see that there are many incarnations of the Lord, and then many people are attached to many other incarnations. So, the final destination should be Krishna. That is what we learned all the time in Bhagavatam and everywhere. So, my second question is, if we worship the Lord in any form, like there are many other sects also whereby they say that this particular incarnation is incarnation of the Lord Krishna. So if we worship that particular incarnation, still the final destination, will it be the same?
No. So the whatever form one remembers, he attains that form. So in the same thing, you know, Hanumanji will never trade off his position with the gopis in Goloka. You know, so if you give a offer to Hanumanji, you become a gopi in Goloka. You know, Krishna is supreme. Why are you worshipping Lord Ram? So he's attached to service of Lord Ram, and he's happy and satisfied. So that is the purpose. One should be happy and satisfied, and we should appreciate and you know, give all the respect to all the devotees. And we should not have this you know, very narrow-minded as no, he is not a devotee of Krishna. When Anupam, the younger brother of Rupa and Sanatana Goswami, he was also a devotee of Lord Ram. And Rupa and Sanatana Goswami, they tried their best. Many times they told, why are you worshipping? Why don't you worship Krishna? He's a Supreme Lord. He's a Akhila Rasamrit Murti. So please worship Lord Krishna. So then he tried his best. But he could not, you know, change his mind from worshipping Lord Ram to worshipping Lord Krishna. So the next day he came to Rup Sanatan Goswami and said, actually he came to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he said, please give me permission, I want to commit suicide, you know, because I want to follow your instruction also, but I cannot leave worship of Lord Ram. So Mahaprabhu appreciated that and he said, he is such a chaste devotee of the Lord. So we should be happy whatever form a person worships. Prahlad Maharaj will never, you know, trade off worshipping Lord Narsimhadev with anyone. He is attached to that form. So there is no, you know, lower and higher. Although we have got an opportunity to, you know, worship the supreme form of the Lord, that is Lord Krishna, who is avatari. But that does not mean that all the other incarnations, they are lower. And the devotees of those incarnations, they are not experiencing the highest thing. For those devotees, that is the highest thing. And they are happy and satisfied with that. So that should not be a problem. Anybody attached to any of the avatars, that is, they are practicing devotional service. So that is the concept, that is the philosophy which is there in the Bhagavatam. In Bhagavatam, there are so many devotees which are described, you know. So, and everybody is attached to various avatars. And everybody is happy. So there is no problem with that. Okay.
The last question I want to ask is, when we say the Lord's avatar, that means the 24 avatar given in the Bhagavad Puran, is that the avatar we are talking about? When we say, because nowadays, you know, in this Kali Yuga, there are so many people, they say that he is Krishna's avatar.
The
I don't
avatar
want
should
to
be,
name
first of all,
anyone,
yeah, the
but
avatar should be
there are
first of
so
all
many.
mentioned.
So,
Yes. So avatar should be first of all mentioned in the scriptures. Nobody can, you know, whimsically tell I am also avatar of the Lord. First of all, he should be sanctioned by the authorities mentioned in the scriptures, and he should have bodily symptoms, and he should have performed some of the activities, you know, which avatar should perform. So these are the criteria. Nobody can artificially say I am the avatar of the Lord. And there are unlimited incarnations of the Lord. Avatara hi asankhya harer sattva nidhe gunaha. You know, just like there are waves in the ocean, similarly there are unlimited incarnations of the Lord. So, but all the incarnations of the Lord, they are mentioned in the scriptures. That's why there are unlimited Vaikuntha planets, because there are unlimited incarnations. Unlimited Vishnu forms are there. They keep taking avatars on this Bhumandala. So therefore, whenever we see somebody claiming himself to be avatar, we should cross-check. Is he mentioned in the scriptures? What other devotees, authorities are saying about this person? You know, is he having some bodily features showing like that there are 32 symptoms of a great personality? And has he shown some of the activities which is mentioned about this incarnation, Kalki avatar? People, they say there are so many people who are claiming that they are Kalki avatar. So have they performed some activity like that? Kalki Avatar is going to come in the end of Kali Yuga. So we have to clarify, we have to cross check based on the scriptures. Okay.
Thank you very much, Prabhu.
So, any other questions anybody has? Okay, so we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna Shila Prabhupada ki Jai.